I think I go prepared for like some, traumatic story where I'm like, being എവിടേക്കെങ്കിലും കടത്തിക്കൊണ്ട് പോകരുത്. That's normally, so കടത്തിലേക്കാൻ പോകുന്നത് is a very, like, it drains me because it takes a lot. പക്ഷെ ഇവിടെ പോയിട്ട് I'm having a party listening to the stories.
Yeah, only when it is told through humor or in commercial way, it will reach the maximum audience, and it will be much effective than saying it very like in a preachy way or saying it in a serious tone.
So even if you're a Rajesh, you're somehow rooting for a Jaya. Yeah, for sure, there were multiple places where I wanted to shake her up, but I think when I was being her, I know that this is what she would do. I just hope that she finds the courage to stand up for herself. That's all. Like,
every male is having Rajesh inside him. No? I think everyone is having a Rajesh. Even I have a Rajesh inside me. But it depends on it varies. Like the levels varies for sure. It's great to see men clapping for a woman's heroism.
So the fact that some scrawny girl can come and you can do things, like, and that men are accepting it is a big thing.
Jaya, 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 hey, it's the talk of the town in the entire state of Kerala. It's a film that talks about domestic violence, but uses humor to do that. Joining us today are the hero and the heroine of the film, Darshana, Rajendran and Basil Joseph. Hi Darshana, hi Basil.
Hi.
Hi. So I'm going to ask a very, very basic question. What made you both say yes to the script when you first heard it? Individually, parane.
Basil, go for it.
Yeah.
Because I just loved the narration. I loved the script. I loved the theme of the movie. And as an actor, I got excited to do this role just soon after hearing the narration. I was like so pumped and excited. I was like, when have you planned to shoot? I'm just excited and ready to shoot. I was like very excited. So immediately I called Darshana and said, okay, Darshana, something is on your way. Just be prepared. And she also, yeah, and over to you, Chana.
For me also, again, the fact that Basil called me was already I mean, I know Basil, I know, and like he didn't give away too much, but he sounded excited for sure. And the fact that like it's the thought of Basil and me in lead casting was itself an exciting idea. So I think I was already excited. On top of that, I went for the narration and I had such a good time. Like Nashid, and who's the co-writer and director, Vipin Jatan, were there. And it was just one of those things where it started, and I think I go prepared for like some traumatic story where I'm like being എവിടേക്കെങ്കിലും കടത്തിക്കൊണ്ട് പോകരുത്. That's normally, so കടത്തിലേക്കാൻ പോകുന്നത് is a very, like, it drains me because it takes a lot. പക്ഷെ ഇവിടെ പോയിട്ട് I'm having a party listening to the story. So, and then I connected with these two, and I think somewhere along when the moment, I don't know if you're talking about it, but the moment happened in the film for me, and it immediately became something else. Like, this is something I want to do for sure. And it was something that scared me very, very, like, and I got nervous. I was very sort of, I don't know how I'm going to do this. So it almost immediately became something, of course I have to do this because I don't know how I'm going to do it.
Yeah. Now the film, it talks about domestic violence, but it uses humor to talk about domestic violence, which is not something we are used to, right? So were either of you ever apprehensive of how this will be received or accepted? You can both answer.
I just got disconnected.
The question? Hello?
What happened?
Yeah, the question is, the film uses humor to talk about domestic violence, which is not something we are used to, right? So were you ever apprehensive on how this will be accepted by the audience? Domestic violence, humor ludi parayanulla oru concept.
Yeah, only when it is told through humor or in commercial way, it will reach the maximum audience, and it will be much effective than saying it very like in a preachy way or saying it in a serious tone. That will reach to very limited audience. So I think humor is the best way. The way of satire, sarcasm is the best way to reach the maximum audience, like what Srinivasan's movie have done in the past, or Satyanandikad Srinivasan combination movies, or So KG George movies like Panchavadi Palam, every movie had this element of satire and sarcasm in their tone, which they have always told the very relevant themes in that way, which have the commercial appeal. The even every dialogue in the movie, like in a movie like Sandesham, is very relevant even today, and it will be relevant 50 years from now as well. So, and that have very very popular appeal, and it's part of the pop culture any day. So I think humor is the best way to reach the audience in terms of storytelling, whatever the thematic approach we are having. So I think I am very excited with the sarcasm in the movie. Every scene when the parents of the Jaya telling her, we have been taking care of you for so long, we took care of you for so long, we did everything for you and everything, I was literally laughing like, oh my god, come on guys. So it was like very funny for me. I felt it to be very funny, and that's how you feel it. I mean, the audience also, whoever is laughing will always be thinking themselves, I am a little bit of Rajesh, or I have this shade of the Jaya's parents inside me, but still I am laughing, but still I have to think about it. So that's the way to go about it, I think.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
me
that's
also, I think the that was in fact the most sort of exciting part of it, because we have seen films in the same space, you know, unhappy marriages, domestic violence. We've seen a lot of this, and of course, we're not done. Like, we're going to keep exploring it because it's there all around, and the fact that that was being said through this approach was what was most exciting, because like he said, there are, I know that, you know, there's people aren't getting defensive, right? Like, today when people are watching it, you're entertained, you're in the space. So even if you're a Rajesh, you're somehow rooting for a Jaya. You know what I mean? Like, they are in the theater, the film is designed in a way that even if you're a Rajesh, you're going to root for her, you're going to clap for her. And that, I think, is the success of you know, the film and the approach that Vipin Chatton has taken to say something like this. And that is definitely not a conventional safe approach at all. Like, it had to land, the comedy had to work, the sarcasm, the tone had to be like, it's very easily misunderstood, or you know, you can easily think of it as, oh, we're talking about something so serious, how can you joke about it, or you know what I mean? Like, but the tone of the film is so sorted, and that's fully got to do with the writing, you know, that Vipin Chatton and Nashid have put together. And I think for us, for me, in the beginning, there was nothing to be apprehensive about, because when I heard the narration, I knew this is what they're looking at doing. Like, they're looking at making fun of, including themselves. Like, there are things about themselves they're making fun of, and there are these two guys who have written a film, you know, and they're laughing about the things that they do, and the things that, you know, they're trolling men. And it's great that that sort of a world came, and you know, that I had to be pulled into that world. So I was, there is I think the things that you asked me if I was apprehensive about were exactly the things that I was most excited about.
yeah, yeah. And individually, I want to ask you guys your feelings about the respective roles that you played. You know, like Darshana for Jaya. I mean, as a viewer and a woman, I would have a tendency to tell Jaya, you know, just get out of there or speak up, Jaya. എന്നൊക്കെ പറയാനായിട്ട് തോന്നും. So, were you ever in conflict with the character? Or, I mean, a better question would be, if you were ever to meet a woman like Jaya, what would you tell her? Darshana, this is a question for you.
So for sure, there were multiple points of conflict, and spoken about this, and I've spoken about my life and my upbringing, my childhood, which was nothing like Jaya's. I've had sort of every kind of support, and you know, all in respect, sort of, if for any choice that I've made all through my life, and that I can remember that even not just as an adult, but as a child also. It's a family that always respected choice. So playing someone like Jaya for me was definitely it was a very separate thing. Like, there were multiple points where I'm thinking, you know, why isn't she doing anything? Like, why isn't she taking this? You know, she can do something about it. But I know for a fact that I have playing this character and going through what she went through, or I mean, obviously I've not gone through, but like playing that journey has definitely made me a lot more empathetic to, you know, it's easy for me to stand in my space and say that, oh, this is what everyone should do, but that's not how it works, or that's everybody doesn't have that sort of a the situations are very different. Or like I can stand outside an abusive relationship and say that, oh, you should have gotten out, but until I'm in that place, I never know what I would do. So yeah, it's I think for me, playing Jaya, there was so much of like stifling this all through the first half of the film. I'm saying nothing. I'm you hear Jaya like murmur things, and like hardly no one's listening even when I'm saying things. So that sort of, it was at the end of the day, it was a very real, though I've not experienced it, I know people around me, or I know we're seeing it in the news, where it's also real, right? It's not far away. It was not something I couldn't identify. So yeah, for sure there were multiple places where I wanted to shake her up, but I think when I was being her, I know that this is what she would do. Yeah, this is where she comes from.
Yeah, but what would you tell a woman like Jaya if you meet her? You met a woman like Jaya. What would you tell her?
I don't think I have anything to say. I just hope that she finds the courage to stand up for herself. That's all. Like, yeah, I don't know what else. I mean, I feel like I'll probably ask her to watch Jaya.
Okay. And Basil, this is a similar question to you too. I mean, is this your first character with a slightly negative shade? Oh no. Oh no.
Yeah.
Yes, Alan. Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So in a way, it reminds you of
Because
Shammi from, Kumbalangi Nightsila, because it's a perfect gentleman character. He has a steady income. He takes care of his family from, I mean, that's what it looks like from the outside. But he has this whole other side to him. Appo, how did you feel about Rajesh? I mean, if you were to meet a guy like Rajesh, what would you tell him?
I'd also tell him to watch Jay Jay
Okay.
Hey. If you can
You
be a
can't both
Rajesh,
say the
then
same
this is what
answer.
you.
എന്നാലും
It's a perfect
അതാ
answer,
ഒരു
though.
സെക്കൻഡ് ഓപ്ഷനും കൂടി തരണം കേട്ടോ.
As an actor, I can do, or else I have to tell every human being, like every
Yeah.
male is having a Rajesh inside him. No, I think everyone is having a Rajesh. Even I have a Rajesh inside me. But it's like it depends on it varies. Like the levels varies for sure. I have a lot of Rajesh in my family for sure. Very extreme Rajesh. I've seen so many of them actually in within my family. So it's not nothing new for me actually. I've seen so many of them in my family. Very close relationships. I have Rajesh inside my family, among my friends, and sometimes myself too. So there is always a Rajesh in every male. So so I I cannot say something specific to him. It's going to be something very preachy, or it will look very very pretentious to say something like, oh no, come on, you have to be giving equal respect to. I cannot say that. All
Yeah.
I can say, go watch Jaya, and you see what women do when you do something. That's all I cannot just go around and like, I mean, like, give speeches to people. No, so I think that's the only thing I can do as an artist. That's all we can do. Like even Darshana and me or the director, everyone is looking forward for that. I think that's the only way we can react to this. But most of the times, I try to control inside me because the conditioning is like that. We have seen so many Rajesh. We have grown up in that social system, so we have seen enough. And some way or the other, this Rajesh will pop up from us. For everyone, I hope it's there in everyone. It's there in every home. So just have to control and make sure things happen equally at home. At my home with my wife, that's impossible to be as a Rajesh. She will kick me out.
Yeah. But
He's like brutal.
would you hope that, the Rajeshes that you meet in real life would get the same treatment as what the Rajesh in this movie gets?
Uh, more cinematic. No, this movie is very it's very maybe over the top in terms of everything. I don't think it will be as funny as this in the movie. It will be very things will get worse, escalate. So many things follow. So I don't think I hope things turn out to be like this for every woman, but it's not that practical as you see. But in different ways, maybe it can. But also sometimes, at least you can react even if there is if there is no violence or any fight or anything. At least if there is a voice that she can raise after watching this movie, I think that will be the success of the movie. I don't think realistically every home this is practical for sure.
Yeah.
It's not. It's not going to be that funny for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, like every Rajesh, every male cannot be a Rajesh. He can also be very brutal. It can go different levels. So I think,
Rajesh also tries to be brutal. So, I'll just briefly go back to that viral dance. I'm not going to ask you to enact it. I know you've done that hundreds of times already. But that scene is...
We do it now. Like, we've been just for the last, like, 1 week at any point if you...
Yeah, I've seen so many reels of you doing it.
I was shaking even when I was asleep.
Yeah, but I just want to ask, how did, I mean, that scene is not in the film, right? So how did that promo happen? Was it somebody's idea? What is the story behind that?
Basil Joseph is a
Basil
visionary.
Joseph, I guess that much, but what is the story?
There wasn't much story behind it actually. We were in the promotions and everything.
Yeah.
So we just did it in 5 minutes. That's it. Yeah. It just...
You thought of it? Basil, you thought of it?
Asked someone to shoot it and we just posted it right away. That's it.
Okay. It was your idea.
Nothing.
Basically.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So I'll come to the reception of the film. It's played in the Kalaban Theatre, okay, and I can still see the road is packed with cars inside and outside the theatre, even 1 week after the film released. So do you think that's because the film succeeded in talking about domestic violence the way it expressed it? And, even men who are maybe who take part in domestic violence can now see it from a woman's point of view.
I think it's running because it's an entertaining film. I mean, of course, I think primarily it's that. There aren't so many people who want to talk about all of these things or like want to go watch a movie about, issues and changing the world and the society. They want to be entertained. And that's the crowd that, along with the crowd that wants to talk about these things, I think we've also got the crowd that just wants to be entertained. And I think that's where the makers, and we're all very happy about, like, we're being able to reach a large bunch of people, right? We're not... So I think that's where that's probably why, like, along with talking about these things, where the film is entertaining. I think that's where...
Yeah, it was just on... I don't think people will rush into theaters like this. It's all about the packaging. It's the humor. It's the treatment, the entertainment, or the music. So many things. That's that. And also,
even
along
men
with
are
it,
able to accept it, right? So that's something.
That is, I think that's fully goes. That credit goes to the makers and the writers who if very efficiently placed things that men really don't want to be talking about it, right? Like, they're laughing at something, and then, like Basil said, they're almost tricked into rooting for me, like rooting for Jaya. They're literally like in this, they've literally been trapped into cheering for me. That's just fully the effectiveness of how these guys have made the film.
Yeah. And also feeling funny for the situation of Rajesh, like being under all those things. So many ways they get empathetic to the characters, or like hooked to the characters, get entertained. So we cannot say people are very, just with the release of this movie, everyone is woke, and it's not like that.
But so do you think it'll make them at least question, what domestic violence, what I'm doing is not right, and men who practice domestic violence, a question raise same thonundo.
Definitely, people will think themselves, and they will think about themselves for sure. And it's very, 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 it's great to see men clapping for a woman woman's heroism. I mean, woman's, what can I say? Heroism is the right word.
Yeah.
Woman's heroism. I mean, heroine is,
Heroism.
I mean,
Yeah.
so it's very glad to see that, because
Yeah.
normally tap for men's supremacy, always.
Yeah.
So something really great. That's success of the mission.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, it feels like a space that's almost been reserved for men, right? Like we've not seen. So the fact that some scrawny girl can come and they can do things, like, and that men are accepting it is a big thing, and that's fully got to do with the fact that the makers were able to make them do that.
Do you think they deliberately made the heroine so thin and
Tiny.
tiny?
Yeah, of course. We had discussion about the heroine initially. Vipin Chetan, when he came to me, he didn't have an option. I mean, he had an option, but it didn't work out. We thought of different options. So the first option I said was Darshana for sure. Then we thought of different other options as well. So going to other options, everyone looked bigger for me, bigger compared to me, because I am a small guy. So the heroine should also be smaller than me. So every other heroine looked bigger or looked like physically dominant than me. So we we were sure, like, okay, Darshana is the option as an actress, as a performer, and also as a physically, like, compared to me. She shouldn't be that dominant compared to me. Then only it will look, as it will look like her comeback and everything. If she was very dominant and if she can beat me into the pulp just so easily, then it will not look that effective, so and there's so many things, because they went to such a heroine, and because they opted for Darshana.
Okay, got it. I think we're running out of time. We've got just 1.5 minutes left in this meeting. I'll just ask you one question and leave you. Both of you are also in Dear Friend Together, right? It was also critically acclaimed. I just want to ask you, what is happening with you guys in the Aditha Parvadis?
Darshana.
I've done another.
Sorry.
I've done one other film, which the announcements haven't been made, so I'm not going to say anything. But it was again a completely different space. It's not a commercial space at all, or like So I feel like that was a whole new world. There are a bunch of things that have come up right after the film. This film after Jaya has come. So I'm just sort of figuring, and like I take my time with things. I sit with them for some time, and so yeah, I'm going to slowly figure what next.
And Basil?
I have a couple of commitments already, which I have to finish. So I am on that. I am in Rajasthan right now. A shoot is happening starting tomorrow. So I cannot tell more details until the movie is announced. But yeah, we are starting the shoot tomorrow. Okay. I'm at Jaisal.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Right, great.
Thank you
so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. Bye-bye.